Is Hollywood at a turning point? It says Hollywood is at a turning point. I think they are. With the death of Charlie Kirk, we've seen a lot of reactions. What Alan and I will be discussing is how Hollywood is reacting to the assassination of Charlie Kirk and how this may affect Hollywood going forward. We've seen mainstream media and legacy news collapse, ratings collapse, Stephen Colbert getting canceled, his show getting canceled. Jimmy Kimmel may be next. We've seen ratings spiral and a lack of trust in mainstream news. And they're clearly, and we talk about it when it comes up, which is almost every week, people liking what Hollywood puts out less and less. And this divide couldn't be more noticeable than with the reaction to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. So let's take a look at some things, some comments, both positive and negative, out of Hollywood about this. I really do think this really is a watershed moment. America is forever changed. And this Kirk's death, I think, when we look back, will be as impactful as Martin Luther King or Robert F. Kennedy in the late 60s. And we are at a stage in America where things are as heated as the late 60s, the tumultuous 60s. But let's see how people have reacted here. We've got Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis has a trans child, and curious how she would react. Let's take a look. A lot of people are saying that her reaction is kind of unexpected. We're going to take a look at, how she reacted here. This is a
liberal Hollywood star Jamie Lee Curtis breaking down in tears while paying tribute to Charlie.
I can't pause it.
Charlie Kirk.
I can't. Is that a short? I can't pause shorts. Please never show me shorts. Okay. Let me see if we can try that again. Okay. We're not showing.
Liberal Hollywood star Jamie Lee Curtis breaking down in tears while paying tribute to Charlie Kirk.
I disagreed with him on almost every point I ever heard him say.
Yeah.
I still believe he's a father and a husband and a man of faith. And I hope whatever connection to God means that he felt it.
Curtis also saying that the steady stream of graphic content on social media and elsewhere has made society numb to shocking incidents like Kirk's murder.
Well, I would agree with that assessment. I'll just say we've seen both positive. I did not expect her to react that way. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Alan?
Yeah, well, to Jamie Lee Curtis's credit, you know that she never dehumanized him, because for her to feel deeply about Charlie Kirk as a human being, about a father, about being a husband, touched her. So there are people who have not, and it's those of us in the older generations, the boomers and the Gen X, who realize that it's all debate and it's not personal. It's we recognize that a human being is a human being and deserves rights no matter whether we agree with them or not.
Yeah, there's we're going to show comments from Hollywood all over the map. Normally, when someone passes away, like say, or when someone is no longer with us, you want to focus on the positive things about that person in the moment. We talked about Robert Redford earlier in the show. I would defy you to find anyone saying anything negative, but Charlie Kirk was, he was a controversial figure, even though he was very sort of mainstream conservative.
That's the thing that bothers me is he's not a controversial person. He's a conservative who could speak eloquently his beliefs. That's
Right.
not controversial in any way.
It's not controversial, but he was very like he wasn't
not provocative. He was just someone who could debate well.
Exactly. And I watched so many of his I found his videos very entertaining and illuminating. And even when he disagreed with people, he would say respectfully disagree. He'd say, I'll pray for you. He respected people who did not agree with his views on whether it be abortion, trans issues. Here is,
and again, not controversial in any way.
Yes. Now, Tim Russ played Tuvok.
Yeah.
On Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I know his politics.
He's very left and thought it appropriate to tweet out a graphic of a photo of Captain James T. Kirk, black and white. And it says, the only Kirk that matters. Not coming right out and saying anything about Charlie Kirk necessarily, but this is where we're at. The comics are almost all against him. I'm sure there's some that are supportive. I see people I know, Quarter Black Garrett, Disparu, from
Shad.
My Nerdy Home. Alan, if you would read this.
I can't. It's too small.
You think Charlie Kirk doesn't matter, so that justifies him being shot in the neck and killed? Is that really what you just implied with this pic? People who you don't think matter deserve to be assassinated? Well, at least the actor pictured knows the assassination of someone is wrong, regardless of how you feel about him.
Hey, read the one underneath it. No, scroll up. Just underneath hers. From
William Shatner saying assassination is so senseless. Condolences to the Kirk family. Or Tim Russ could have said nothing. He literally could have said nothing.
Yeah.
Let me go to Justine Bateman.
I'm just saying that the Kirk comment, the Russ comment is gloating.
Yes. The Justine Bateman, friend of the show, was on the Jesse Waters show on Fox News, had some comments. This is a couple minutes long. Let's take a look.
It was just like incredible sadness, especially because this wasn't a politician. It wasn't somebody who was setting policy that directly affects your life. It was just somebody who was expressing what works for him and asking people to explain, not even to him, but almost to themselves, what they understand for themselves. Having them explain. If somebody says I'm queer, and he would say, "What does that mean to you? Can you explain to me what queer means?" And making people explain their own positions to themselves, which I think is a really interesting way to go. If you can't explain your own position to yourself or to others, then what kind of position is that?
It's like Socrates. He went around and he asked questions, and the people got angry about the fact that he was asking questions. Maybe they couldn't answer those questions. Maybe those questions were deemed a threat. And it looks like in Utah, those questions were deemed a threat. What does that say about us?
I mean, that's the interesting thing, Jesse. We've had, from like 2016 to 2024, both sides really, being like, no, this is what I believe and this is what's right. And the other side saying, this is what I believe and this is what's right, and having that kind of thing. But now we're at a level where there is a group of people, and I'm not even going to call it the left or whatever, because I don't find this to be rational in any way. There's a group of people for whom, when you say these things they don't agree with, they react as if they are the Wicked Witch of the West and you've just splashed water on them. Or Do you know what I mean? Or you're a vampire and you've held up, you've splashed holy water on them, or you held up a wooden cross or something. It's so irrational. It's, and it's like a toddler having a tantrum. It's like, use your words, which is what Charlie was trying to do. Use your words. Explain your position.
I like Justine. I don't know that she would align herself with either the right or the left. But she's clearly leans more conservative, and is just, I don't know if she would say she's on the right or conservative. She's not whatever's happening on the left.
But I think
that's fair to say.
She is a classic liberal.
Yes.
Just if you just listen to what she said there.
Yeah.
Liberals, I remember liberals in the 80s were all about freedom of speech, about you being able to express your opinion and not have any backlash because of it, not being thrown in jail, not having your bank accounts taken away, and not being shot, for crying out loud. But what I have found is that in this world, in the forum of debates, it's not two opposing sides coming at each other and there's a winner at the end, but oftentimes it's two sides coming at each other and then finding common ground in the middle. It's we talked about it with Rainn Wilson. We all want America to be a great country. It's just that we have different ideas of how to get there. And if we as speaking of politics, if we could just legislate the common ground, this country would be a much better place.
Yeah, I think that most people are in the middle, but kind of, radicalized by just a lot of this.
When you say in the middle, it's I believe we agree more than we disagree.
True. I've got a lot more I'm going to get to. Again, both sides of the spectrum in Hollywood, from Debra Messing's Instagram. I couldn't sleep last night. The assassination of Charlie Kirk is so horrifying and devastating. I found many of the things he said offensive. That's okay. But he was a father of two, a husband, a devout Christian, someone smart and articulate who believed in the power of debate over violence. He traveled to campuses around the country to give students a platform to speak, even to speak against him. He was respectful. While I didn't agree with him, I respected that he encouraged peaceful dialogue and critical thinking. The idea that disagreement could justify erasure is barbaric, and the fact that so many are celebrating it is horrifying. Today is also 9/11. Wow, she posted this on 9/11. Another devastating anniversary of mass death in the name of ideology. We all saw the videos of people joyously celebrating then. The same celebration is happening now. It is the same thing. Take a moment to think about what it means to celebrate this, to sing, to hand out sweets, to laugh at someone's death. Violence and murder can never be acts of virtue. They can never be justified as violent resistance. Those who commit killings may see themselves as heroes, as liberators, as resistors, as they chant resistance by all means necessary. But they are not. They are murderers. This is terrorism. No cause, no grievance, no politics, no arguments can make this assassination anything but barbaric. I have always considered myself a liberal. Today, I feel politically homeless. The far left protests and dehumanizing in the name of fight against violence, yet here the same people are celebrating violence. Something very wrong has happened to our society. We no longer see humanity. We have no tolerance for difference, no patience for conversation, no interest in facts. I am praying for Charlie Kirk's family, his friends, and the students who witnessed his killing. I'm also praying for those who are celebrating, that they wake up to the darkness they are endorsing. We have to be better. We have to be human. Debra Messing, I didn't even ever really know what her politics are.
She's a liberal.
She's a liberal, but that's very well said.
Yeah.
Very well said. Here's something from Selma Blair, and I haven't read all of these. We all kind of added to this. There's a bunch to look at. So Debra Messing one. This is from Brandon at Trashman84. Selma Blair made her feelings known regarding Charlie Kirk. I hope we see more celebrities willing to speak out on their beliefs. You know that there are many more people who keep their mouths shut. Selma Blair said, this incredible man who would go into the cauldron of indoctrination and use logic to have dialogue. I'm sick for his family, for all of us. So,
and then Kristin Chenoweth responded.
And then people saw my messages. People,
yeah,
they're messaging me there. We've got a bunch more here of people saying some you wouldn't expect. Here's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Here. I'm going to bring this one up. If you have any comments, Alan, just
Yeah.
But
to your point, it feels like the pendulum is swinging back.
Well, I think the pendulum to common sense. Let's look at this. Let me know when to stop this. He's talking. It's from the LA Times. The timing of this just
right, and he's at USC, a bastion of
yes. Here we go. Let's just look at this.
On a very serious and somber note, last week, as everyone in this room knows, the country witnessed the most horrific murder of Charlie Kirk on a university campus in Utah. It was a highly disturbing event, and I know that it's shaken a lot of members of our community. And I wanted to ask you, what were your reactions to this event, and what can you say to help our community process what this event means for something that we all care so much about, which is even when we disagree with someone vehemently over politics, it should never, ever descend into violence of any kind.
Well, I was very, very upset that someone's life was taken because they have a different opinion. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, this was a great communicator, a great advocate for the right, for Republican causes. And he had such a great way of communicating with the students that agreed or disagreed with him. And I just thought about it's a human being. A human life is gone. And he was a great father, a great husband. And I was thinking about his children. They will only be reading about him now instead of him reading to them bedtime stories. I mean, it's just unbelievable of what is going on. So I was shocked when I saw this, as we all were. And I think that since then there are endless amount of debates about how do we stop this? But we have to acknowledge that the cause of all of this is the social media companies that are dividing us, the mainstream media companies that are dividing us, the political parties, the Democrats that are dividing us, the Republicans that are dividing us. So we're getting hit from so many different angles. And we have to be very careful that we don't get any closer to that cliff. Because when you fall down that cliff, down there is no democracy. So we have to be very, very careful. And I think it is very important that we turn this around and that we show people power. Because the people can turn this around. The people have the ultimate power. That people always say, well, what can I do? I'm just an individual. But each and every one of you in here can make a difference.
There, it goes on. We'll put links to everything will be in the description. I know that people like to highlight a lot of the negative stuff. It's nice to see a sober mind like that. Now, this one, a lot of people did not see. Mark Ruffalo. This is on Soul Boom, Rainn Wilson's podcast on YouTube.
Whom we heard from on Monday. Yeah.
Yes, we heard Rainn Wilson. Let's hear Mark Ruffalo on Rainn Wilson. Here we go. A brief clip.
It's hard to bring up. Charlie Kirk was killed.
Yeah, man.
This is tearing the country apart in so many ways, and the country is being torn apart in so many different ways. While I didn't agree with his ideas, shooting someone that we disagree with, even if they're vociferous and loud and out there, is so colossally wrong-headed. I spoke to a couple of, let's say, some liberal friends last night at an event, and they were like, you won't find me shedding any tears. And someone else was like, oh, well, there was a little bit of a kind of a good riddance thing. And it's like, guys, no.
Yeah, I know.
No.
I know.
We cannot think or talk that way.
Not at all.
That is not
It's
okay.
so dangerous, man. I mean, my first thought was, also we had another school shooting.
Yeah. Which totally got buried in the headlines.
Got buried in the headlines. Of course it would, though. And listen, I'm someone who my brother was murdered. I lost my brother through gun violence, and so this is a real personal topic for me. There's no winning. We'll never win this way. There's no idea that if we cheer on our opponents being hurt or harmed in any way, that we win as a society. And we all lose. Like I know what his family is going through. Like I understand that on such a personal level. And it's a tragedy that not only the person who is killed experiences, but the entire family and community around that person. Like this is no joke, And so it does break my heart, even for someone that is not my political opponent, who would probably call me an idiot.
Now I want to push back, but I want to push back on you a little bit for even using the word opponent.
Right.
Like someone who disagrees with, who we disagree with, even vehemently, and we think they're sending the country in exactly the opposite wrong direction that goes against even Jesus's teachings himself. Like, how can we reframe it from opponent to, just someone we disagree with? I don't know what the word is exactly.
Yeah, maybe that is the wrong word, but it's someone who's, we might be on complete ideological opposite ends of the world, but this is the problem in the world. Like, where do we go when violence is the only solution?
Yeah.
Like that's the final solution, that ethos is what we're going to embrace.
Yeah.
Which is where we're at now. I mean, people are walking around with weapons of war. This is a weapon of war. I mean, I don't know what killed him, but more often than not, we're seeing people killed with weapons of war that are nothing.
It was a sniper rifle. So this
for
was
nothing
planned.
More than to kill human beings. That's what these weapons are for, Now
he's going to go into gun rap, but at least, I mean, it's rare that Mark Ruffalo will say something. At least it's not.
See, this is the discussion I had about opponents.
Yes.
Using the term opponent implies there's winners and losers. You
Correct.
are either the winner or the loser. And the people in charge are the winners, and people who are not in charge are the losers. And that's the wrong way to go about it. Again, it's not about who's in power and who has the power. It's about, how you make this country a better place. And it is this forum of ideas that needs to be had. Look, if you want to win an argument, if you want to win a debate, construct a winning argument.
That was the point of what Charlie was doing, is let's debate. Let's see if there's any common ground or change each other's minds.
And I don't think Charlie is saying I am the winner. I am the wise one. I am of all knowledge. But what Charlie did, and I think this is what arguments and discussions should be, is to say, I have an opinion. And by hearing an opposing opinion, two things will happen. Either my opinion will be strengthened because I can see where, I can see the strengths of my arguments, or you look at your argument in a more nuanced way and say, okay, maybe I'm not 100% correct, but what do I do with the 10% I'm not correct in, and 90? You know what I'm saying? It's you either strengthen your argument or you change your way of looking at things.
Well, I gotta move on because we have a guest coming and a lot of comments. But here, want to end on maybe a bright note. Here's what Jimmy Kimmel had to say. But stay with me because breaking news just happened. Okay. I have a point to this. Let's watch this.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
Well, I'll just say on that, I don't have a problem with him making a joke. Fine, make a joke. Mm-hmm. He has mischaracterized, and this is spread on so many other outlets, that the shooter was right-wing, a Republican. That is not true. That is not true based on all the evidence that's come out, messages, letters, and it's so much. But guess what? Breaking, the Hollywood Reporter, FCC chair threatens Jimmy Kimmel over Charlie Kirk monologue comments. And to be clear, Alex Jones was sued into oblivion over false statements over a school shooting. Maybe there needs to be some accountability with the mainstream media's outright lying about people, dehumanizing half of America. This is what needs to end. If it takes some kind of lawsuit, maybe bankrupt ABC, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good thing. But this just broke a couple hours ago. So there we go. It's breaking. Final thoughts, Alan, then we'll go to comments.
Speaking specifically to this, the threat is that to take ABC's license away from broadcast license, because they are able to broadcast over the airwaves for free. And we're able to watch them for free. And therefore, there's stipulations where you do have equal time. You do have to present both sides. You cannot be the propaganda arm of one party over the other.
Right.
And so that's kind of what's going on there, and that they could lose affiliates and things like that. And again, you pointed out, Alex Jones was basically hammered for the same reasons. And while I think it was wrong for them to have done that to Alex Jones, it's kind of like good for the goose, good for the gander. And that's what's happening here. Never should have. If it didn't happen to Alex Jones, I would, I kind of brush this off as Jimmy Kimmel being a moron and an idiot.
Well, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong there, but I really hope that Charlie's legacy is preserved and his work, he's allowed to speak for himself. Because as someone who's watched him for years, he's being mischaracterized.